Kill it. What's up, everyone? This is K.Short, and welcome to this week's Phoenix Rising.
Talking. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Check mic. 1, 2. Check. Okay. All right. Okay. We're technically recording.
Nice.
We're going to put this here, and then it's going to go off. All right. Hey, y'all. Welcome to Phoenix Rising. I'm going to do that again because I'm moving my water. Hi, y'all. Welcome to Phoenix Rising. My name is K.Short. Today, we have Mr. Josh with us, and we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship.
Oh, yeah.
So, we're going to give you the backstory as to why we're sitting here, but also, P.S., welcome to Phoenix Rising in the relaunch. We're finding cool places to film.
This is gorgeous.
I know, just letting you know. So, where we're at, I won't tell you. Maybe you'll be the next. This may be the official studio. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But I want to give a background story as to how Josh and I met. As you may be looking at us, you're like, how are those two people likely friends? Well, thankfully, to Miss Shanice Malachi, we were doing a shoot for Cartel Coffee.
Yes.
Right? This was about, how long ago was it?
A couple months.
Couple months ago.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. We were in Tempe, point blank period. We kind of, I don't know, we were kind of all there. It was really quiet.
Yeah.
We were just on set. And, you know, Malachi has been giving me the opportunity to sit on her sets and just learn because you all know, like, I don't know what I'm doing half the time. But it was kind of like a different kind, like the feel was, it was great. It was a great location, things like that. But like everyone was so serious about what, you know, the reason why we were there, the purpose we were there. And I was like, you know what, like, I'm just, you know, an assistant or just helping out where I can. And he was standing on the stairs on like the lowest step, and I was standing on the highest step, and I was at eye level with him, and then we just got in a conversation.
It just got like super deep.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Yeah. Yes, very quickly. I'm trying to think of what
How do you feel about life? It's like, well, my dad, or you know, like it's just like,
yeah,
boom,
it was just like 0 to 100. Like there wasn't this, oh, so what's your favorite color type of thing. And then, but we realized, we were like, you know what, we didn't have that conversation. We didn't get to like level 50. We just went to 100. So we ended up meeting later on over in Tempe, over at Cartel Coffee, which is really cool. If you haven't checked out that commercial, make sure to do so. I'm sure I can link it somewhere around here. Just
in it for 0.5 seconds.
Exactly.
Doing one of these.
Was it really just a 0.5?
It was. It's like my hand, and then like
the whole day.
Like, yeah.
That's so interesting about shooting is all like you're there for a whole day and you're probably only
like 8
in
hours,
it.
yeah.
That is so crazy. So we'll link that so you can go check it out as to the exact situation we met. But we ended up meeting later at Cartel Coffee, got to catch up and not catch up, got to know each other. And then now we find ourselves doing this because I did see videos of you on the internet. I was like, that's interesting because I didn't, you know, because there's people like me who talk a lot and there's folks like Josh who talk a lot but isn't so vocal about it. And so I was really interested. I was like, he's putting videos out, but I was like, maybe it was just a one-time thing. I don't know. So let's get to know Josh really quick. Maybe not the 0 to 100 just as quickly. We're gonna ease.
My dad.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna just ease y'all in as to what we talked about. And as we start on every Phoenix Rising, we're starting to learn the origins of people's stories. And as most folks that are on my show is from Arizona, from the Valley. So we caught them up. They're good. They're great. Okay, so
starting fresh.
Starting from the very beginning, Josh, where are you born and raised? And let's catch them up as to where you're at, talking about Walt Disney, talking about Brazil, and everything that you've gotten up to this far.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for the amazing introduction. It was a lot of fun. I'm from Mesa, Arizona, born and raised. Went to Red Mountain High School and was kind of the creative kid. So I'm 6'4", grew up before like my brain could control my limbs. And so like sports, like no way, like not even close. So I'd be acting, I'd be drawing constantly. And with my family background, if I did anything creative, the idea was that I would die hungry and alone. I was like, I don't want to do that. Yeah. So I got an electrical engineering degree. Basically, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. The most like technically prestigious degree I could get.
At ASU.
At ASU. Go Sun Devils. And turns out I'm still creative. And so it's just been a nutso journey. I got to work for my childhood dream company, which is Disney, designing rides with Walt Disney Imagineering. So I worked on the new Peter Pan for Shanghai, which was awesome. I quit my engineering job. So I took another job, quit that in 2015, and started a handwritten letter company. And so the last 2 years have just been learning everything there is that I can get my hands on, which is, there's just so much out there. I read over 200 books about entrepreneurship, and then just trying to apply everything I've learned instead of just sitting and watching videos all day of like saying, hey, like this works here, this works here, this works here. And basically I'm just getting really frustrated finding that there's so little information on how to actually do this. So there's a lot of like how to get pumped, but there's not a lot on like, if you want to go from here to here, then like, what do I do?
Yeah.
You like watch a video, you get pumped, and then you're like, you know, like what's the next step? And so I'm really passionate about like trying to bridge that.
Yes. And I think just to like bring it back to all of you, and I'm sure this is exactly. I love that you talked about like the past 2 years. Like, for one, I don't know what human being. I think that's one thing that struck me with him was like, you read how many books in 1 year? I'm trying to get through one book, and it's like on my Kindle, and it's like dead. Like, well, I'm still, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just not that person, right? Like, I'm not that person to read. And that's why I was like, you read how many books in 1 year? So it's like, and I know there's a lot of us out there that we're reading and we're watching and we're reading and we're watching and we're observing and we're watching all these people do it, right? And like, and currently right now, like I watch a lot of Gary Vaynerchuk. Like I watch him, very religiously. Like if not the only person who like, he's become a part of my routine. Like every morning when I have that morning to myself, like I watch a video by Gary V, whether it's his Daily V or his Ask Gary V show, or like, I just entrenched into that world and joining the Vayner Nation. And so I was just, but all he talks about is stop watching me and go do it. Like he's like, I don't know how many times I have to tell you all, like self-awareness is everything. And it's like, once you know yourself and you stop giving a fuck about what people think, and he keeps saying the same 10 commandments of his Bible, and people are still just watching him, wanting to get that emotion from him. He's like, you know what? Screw it. You all could keep watching me. I was all like, but I'm going to be out here executing. And I think that's what I love about him, and that's where I find a lot with my peers. We could post motivational quotes all day and leadership quotes all day, and we could read all these books all day. But now this is where we lead it into Josh, where he's like, I've done all that. And I'm still like, what the heck do I do, right? And so now we're going to talk about what he's doing and that process to get to this point. Because when I met him, so we talked like less than a few months ago. What was our follow-up? It was like we told each other we'd follow up with each other every so often.
About monthly or something like that.
Was it monthly? Like once a month, meet up every so often. So you're starting something new since the last time we talked. That was there's missing information. I was like, wait, I thought you were doing stuff for weddings. I'm so confused. So now we have even a lot of catching up from that point. So you worked for Disney, then you did the handwriting thing for weddings, and then where are we at right now? Yeah.
So and just to go back to the Gary Vee thing, like I think that's one of the reasons why we keep watching the videos is because of the lack of information. Because like that's just such a terrifying jump of like you get pumped, you're like I'm ready. Turn off the video, you look out the world, you're like okay, let's watch another video. Let's get pumped. Because it's that like, what do I do? Where do I step? It's like an open ocean, and it's like, where do I take the first like stroke? And that's really tough. And so I don't know. I think I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot every day. Even yesterday, there's this room that I had access to. 7:30 a.m. Bunch of 50-year-old white men. And
why are you up at 7:30 a.m.?
It hurt.
Yeah.
It hurt.
Wait, what was this, like a conference? Like, why are you just sitting in this room? Is it some country club that we don't know about? I know. It's just like smoking cigars. Like, I don't know.
It's part of it's an emerging business series put out by a local law firm based out of Phoenix.
Okay.
And they were the series was about. This specific one was the top 10 legal mistakes that new businesses make. However, I believe I was the youngest person in the room. And so most of the people in there were like experienced business vets, not the people who actually needed to know the information. Maybe they had clients that they could help. It was informational. Yeah. I was just like, there's a point when the head lawyer, who was very helpful, was just like, so, common mistake. We had two of these last week. They come in, and I'm looking at their articles of organization, and sorry, do you know what they put for their operating agreement. Nothing. And like, you know, like everyone's like, oh, like nothing. That's rookie mistake. And I'm just like, what? Like operating agreement, articles of organization, like, and luckily because of my background and like reading all those books and like doing this incredible amount of research, I have like a fundamental knowledge, like basic knowledge of what he's talking about. But there's literally millions of dollars at stake for some of these decisions. And like, there's a room of people that don't need to know the information. That's who they're teaching it to. And like, it's not getting out there.
Yeah.
And that's ridiculous. And I just, the talking about how self-awareness is important as well. Like, I come from an incredibly privileged background, like white, 6'4" male, like I've got it made. I won the lottery. And I don't think though that the privileges and the entitlement or my access to the information that I have because of the way I was born does not entitle me to keep that information to myself. And that doesn't mean that like in sharing that I think I'm any kind of savior. I just know that I have information that I didn't even have before, and I want to share that in whatever capacity I can.
My question is, you're sitting in a room with these men,
Yeah.
these white men, straight gay, straight gay, taken or single, whatever, no one knows, because for some reason in masculinity they can't have that conversation. But why do you want to share that information? Why does the rest of those people in that room don't want to share that information? What experiences that have you had that you're like, I need to get this out? Because obviously they're fine sharing this information with people that already know it. So what is it with you that happened to you and your experiences where you're like, other people need to know this?
Absolutely.
Pause. So that's where we get into the...
It's getting good.
Yep. All right. Is there a red dot? Cool. It's all that matters, as long as there is a red dot. So go ahead and answer that question.
Yeah, well, I can't speak for everybody else in the room, but I know personally, I had a study abroad from hell, basically. It was a grant to study microelectronics in Brazil. Basically, some money the government had put away in this like random like Windows 95 website crap. We found it. My buddy actually found it. We go to Brazil. Nobody meets us at the airport. I'm from Mesa, like 20 years in a 20-mile radius. I'm thinking San Diego at best.
Yeah.
I get my butt kicked so hard. So there's a federal strike, so the schools are closed. At one point, I didn't have a place that was like guaranteed to stay. So I'm looking at parks to sleep in in South America and just realizing that I'm having the most difficult time of my life. And there are people that are like worrying about their finals and worrying about like how their hair looks that day. And just knowing that it was 2 months. It was not a crazy amount of time, but just experiencing what it's like to not know the language, to be judged for have my intelligence judged because I couldn't speak properly. And so I could say like basic sentences. And so people thought I was basic. And I never thought about that. I never knew what that was like. And so even just that snippet of information and experience, I don't know. And so nobody helped me. So I had to figure this out. And with entrepreneurship, my family is not the kind that's just like, oh, you should quit your engineering job, which is safe and secure and smart, and start handwriting letters. That's not like the priority. But they did instill values. And so in that entrepreneurship journey, I got very little help because I didn't know who to go to. I had my Kindle. I had Overdrive, which is a library app, by the way. That you can download books from your couch. You just go in once a year, and that's awesome. That's how I got most of the books. But I couldn't call Richard Branson. I couldn't call Gary Vee. I didn't have people that could speak into my life. Coming from all the privileges I'm coming from, the first time I had entrepreneurship even like introduced to me was because a professor chose to talk about it the very last semester of my senior year. And that was my first introduction of like practically how someone like me could do that. And that's just someone like me, someone from Mesa, someone who watches Shark Tank, but nobody in Mesa is like doing it. There's like a 10-year-old who started like a charity and like he was the biggest thing ever. Yeah. But I never knew anybody that was doing that. It was just kind of like, it was irresponsible, or you just don't do it.
Yeah.
You know? And so.
Especially in Arizona, right?
Yeah.
So like, no, and I feel like what I think you're trying to say is, yes, you have all these identities of privilege, but there's one thing we don't have, you know, whether it's you or me, is in Arizona and particularly in Phoenix, we're not surrounded by these kinds of people and this kind of oxygen and passion and, you know, whatever that feels. Because like when you come to Arizona, y'all, and if you ever have, there is really no feeling. It feels like just a desert, you know. But how many times, and a lot of people who are in Arizona, every time that many of us travel or other folks travel, you get a certain feeling when you go to certain cities, you know. But in Arizona,
Well, we haven't formed the identity.
we haven't formed the identity yet. We haven't formed any expectations. We haven't, you know what I mean? That's not what it is. So that's why when we talk about access to entrepreneurs or even just this lifestyle or just this idea or thought, it's not here.
Yeah.
Not yet, at least.
Yeah. And so that's, what are you going to do? I mean, you're going to watch videos. I mean, and that's amazing. Like, we have access to so many resources today to even like begin that process. YouTube, Facebook, Kindle, or just libraries. Like, libraries still have new books in them, even though it's like an archaic concept. Like, you can go there and get information, and it's amazing. And so I think it's really important, like what you're doing and what we're doing here, and what you're doing by even watching what's happening here. It's like this little love triangle happening. Because not enough is happening. And we were talking about this earlier. I had a mentor at Disney who said the reason why all the assholes are in upper management are because they're willing to promote themselves. They're willing to put themselves out there when all the nice people are just sitting back, and it feels like some kind of like it's selfish or it's narcissistic. When we live in a world where there's so much constant noise, you have to fight as a good person to have your good idea in the world. And so that really stuck with me, and he made me rewrite like my end of the year review like 5 times. He said, you did more, you did more, you did more. And like, and it was like a 3-month capacity. Everyone talks about like their mentors, and like, but he changed my life just by believing in me and giving me permission to say like, speak up for yourself. And so if I, in any way, even this conversation, give someone permission, like speak up for yourself. Please, like your ideas are the ones that need to be out there. Please. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I
know you're like I need a mic drop that one. No, but I mean, I completely agree with you, and that's why Phoenix Rising is back, y'all, because I was tired of getting validation and permission from other people to speak my ideas and have other people's stories heard, and saying that this platform and that platform says, yep, you're good enough. We're willing to give you that access and this access to people and this information and things like that. No, like that's a great thing about the internet and how it's changed the game, where it's like, it's us. And it's on our rules, on our terms, on, whatever we want to say. Even just prepping right now, I was like, you know what? This is my show. You know what I mean? Like, we can go as long as we want. Let's definitely practice what has already been out there, be clear and concise and all that stuff. But it's like, it's so important for us to document this journey in so many ways, because so many times people, and this is a very common thing and something that we're going to get to, but we see everyone with the $1 billion homes and cars, but no one documents how they got there. And that's why it's so important for us to do that. Because I want you all to know, yes, this interview is very much for y'all, but it's also very much for us too, to be able to look back on this 3, 5, 10 years from now and be like, holy crap, we're still consistent with that person in that video. And I think that's extremely important, and as to why Phoenix Rising is relaunching and why we have Josh here to give you all that information as to what he's gonna, get started.
And just to validate, like, it's terrifying. Like, I have to fight myself daily because I don't have, even though I know it's the douchiest thing, somehow it gets planted that I do need a Ferrari in order for people to listen to me, that I do need to be there. Yeah. Otherwise, my perspective is invalid. Yeah. And I think it's bullshit. And I'm lucky to have people to encourage me to say, hey, like, do it. And like, do it now. Yeah. Don't do it then. Do it now, because even then you're not going to relate to the now. And so I mean, it's scary. It's scary to talk about. I don't like talking about my failures. I don't like being vulnerable with, like, I'm at my parents' house and I go to LA sometimes to buy Greyhound, and I come back to my parents' house where I grew up after, like, even living in LA, like designing rides. Been to Dubai. Like, I've done all these like luxurious things that even as a Mesaite, a Phoenixite, a Phoenician, that I didn't think was possible for myself. It's just like, what's wrong? Like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
What's wrong with me? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
The deals with my handwritten letter deal, within 2 months, one of the largest universities in America asked for $40,000 worth of letters.
Wow.
And I couldn't grasp it, and the deal fell through.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, I made it, like, entrepreneurship, like, this is great. And then, like, I missed it.
Yeah.
And Imagineering, like, after I graduated, I had to go back to school, finish my degree, come back, and I reached back out, and they didn't say, like, hey, come on back. There was, like, no response. It was like cold shoulder, like I had never even been there. I don't like sharing that, because I don't feel like that makes me look that awesome. But through that, I think it's really important to, like, soldier on. And I don't want to, like, get into, like, a motivational speech about, like, the hustle. Like Gary V's, there are people out there that are really good for the hustle. But I think it's important to be real. I think it's important to be vulnerable and to say, like, we're not sitting here, like, we didn't just grab, like, martinis and be like, let's do an interview. Like, we pulled up sweaty in our cars. Like, my car is like Jackson Pollock painting. Like, it's just sunspots everywhere.
Yeah.
And, like,
Mine too, if not worse.
yeah. And so it's not,
It's not luxurious.
yeah. And after this, we're going to go back and we're going to probably get super sweaty and gross again and keep doing what we're doing. But, like, just because you're not there yet doesn't mean you shouldn't put yourself out there, A, and that, B, you shouldn't do it at all. Because the only way to get, like, 15-inch biceps is by, like, going from 6 to 7 and 7 to 8 and 8 to 9. And just because you can't go from 6 to 15 does not mean you should not go to the gym. Like, that's exactly why you should go to the gym, is to, like, have that incremental growth. And I just don't think that's talked about. It's just like, if you are not the billionaire now, don't put yourself out there until you're there. And don't claim to be where you're not. You can just be real with where you are. And, like, I'm
okay.
talking too much.
It's okay. Get a drink of water. It's a little edit. Or we keep this part in the video is the best part, actually.
I'm done. Vulnerability.
Breathe. Take it. You're good.
Yeah.
Do you need more water?
Yes.
Yes.
That's so funny. Oh, man. The irony is real. It is so real.
There you go. I'm actually going to talk that quick.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's so funny.
So while he's drinking, oh, perfect timing. So while he's drinking his water and regaining his oxygen and breath, one thing I wanted to talk about is when it comes to him and I. So you all know I'm the type of person where I'm, like, going to put my story out there. I don't care, like, and I want to document it until I get to the Ferrari or until I get to that spot. So we see that it doesn't just happen overnight. But as someone who always got in trouble in class for talking too much, this is easy for me. But I think looking at Josh and looking at my friends and looking in the world today, I think it's so important for folks who are naturally quiet, who don't like talking about themselves, that don't like putting themselves out there, is important to push past that uncomfortability and put yourselves out there. And I say y'all's because it's not me. I could do this all day, but it's important for those quiet ones, exactly what he says, to put those ideas out into the world, because now, and then we're going to get into, like, the big mic drop later on, but now is, like, the best time to do it. But we have to understand that as we move into the world and with the internet and what we are watching, how it's transforming everything, is that it's so important for us to document from the janky car to the Ferrari, because us are not as willing to trust just anybody nowadays. We want to trust people that are trustworthy, that are authentic, and they're genuine, and they showed us that they got the Ferrari after going through hot sweat from car to Phoenix experience in general, like we want to see the journey, we want to see the struggle, and that's why we're documenting our struggle, because we know how important that's going to be, that trust and that loyalty that we're going to build with all of you later on. And so that's why I say, if you're someone like Josh who isn't out there like that, it's important now to start the journey now in documenting what it's like to be uncomfortable and going through these experiences. And after he does a motivational speech, and maybe it's his first one, it's like, or second one, it's the most crappiest thing, but he comes back and documents like, I just completely messed up. But this is how I'm going to keep moving forward to make sure I achieve that dream.
Yeah, well, and I think we have the voices of millennials are like in their 40s.
Yeah.
Like we are so, and then the people that are our age are representing us by, it's either like the completely like unmotivated, like lazy, I deserve everything, I'm not willing to work for it, or just the reiteration of the Ferrari guy who's standing there and being like, oh, like it's not about the Ferrari here. It's not about it. It's not the reason why it's there is just a reminder, and I think we know like what I'm talking about here. And we're just so sick of that crap.
Yeah.
Like we see right through it. The level of transparency that we have today is phenomenal, terrifying, but phenomenal, because it's so much easier to hold public figures accountable than it is to hold ourselves accountable. I mean, I struggle a lot with, it's so tempting to like just do that because we see it. And so like, I want to put out the Ferrari version of myself. Absolutely. Because like, it looks awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't have a Ferrari. And so like, and then so the alternative is like being real.
Yeah.
And I think that's an acceptable alternative or like first option, which I'm even learning now to like lean into and like talk about the things that didn't work, because it's just, you get so much more attention and people seem to light up when you talk about the things that do work.
Yeah.
When I got back from Brazil and people were like, how was it?
Shitty.
Yeah, no, seriously. Like I learned very quickly that they wanted to hear, oh, it was crazy, best time of my life, done. And because when I responded like, and I was like, I rested 208, I came back 168. And so I'm looking the trip and I'm just being like, it was the most difficult thing. And I'm like, and like people are just like, I gotta go. Like, I'll see you later. I'm just like, And so like people, it's not sexy. And a lot of people don't know how to respond because a lot of people I don't think are okay with themselves to be able to accept somebody in that. And that's tough, but that's no reason not to be authentic. And that's no reason, like for me, it's always like for something like this, if it hits one person, like if there's one person out there that's just like this, like encouraged me or motivated me or like helped me like to want to just go from here to here, that's worth it to me. Then like, yeah.
And just to like really quick, you talk about, and just to make this more relatable in a sense, I've been telling you all for a very long time, like I don't have any mentors, you know what I mean? So like I'm still figuring it out, you know? And so I just want you to know, like that's a part of the journey. Sometimes you do have people that are willing to help you, and then sometimes you don't yet. I know I will. I know that person is out there. I don't know where you're at, until that moment happens, but I know that there's going to be someone that wants to mentor me, make sure that I cut a couple corners or be like, yo, this corner is going to be really tough, make a hard right, and go from there. But also at the same time, I lost my train of thought.
Mentors?
Huh?
Mentors?
Well, yeah, mentors, but just also like, he's talking about that one person to see this, right? So talking to you, like, I only have so many subscribers, and I'm coming back, right? But it's like, it's not even about the subscribers, y'all, and it's not even about the followers, It's about exactly what he says, that 1, 2, 3 people that are gonna watch this. You could go look at my following count of subscribers, is like 400 something, and that was just off built over the first 2 years we were consistently together.
2 years.
2 years, and then, the industry got in the way, and I was like, I don't like it. That's why I'm back. I'm back because I didn't like it. But because that one subscriber, I mean, this is going out there, but what if that one subscriber was Oprah? That one, then all you need is that one. You don't even everyone else, like, all of you are very important to me, but I'm just saying, like, we never know who that other person is on the other side of the screen, and to never never wavered by only having 15 subscribers, or ever wavering from only having 23 followers or 100 followers. Like that one person, there's one person that's watching our journey, who could connect us to the next point in our journey. So just a little side note as we move on to Josh's frustrations and all of this. Was there anything else that we need to cover? Like, let's look really quick.
Or just just sharing kind of what that's manifested, because I talk about like how important the how is without actually like providing anything.
Yes.
And I think that's like a extremely real problem.
Yes.
Of just like, I could make you great because I'm great, and because I'm great, you can make me great. And if you pay me because I'm great, I will make you more great. And it's just like, that's not helpful. At all.
So after the experiences with Disney, after experiences with Brazil, after the experiences with the missing the deal and missing, all that stuff, where are you headed to now?
Yeah, absolutely. So the handwriting business evolved into, I figured out how to use laser cutters. There's a space in Arizona where you can rent time on it. So Secret Door Shop, SHOPPE, is my wedding cake topper and plate topper business, which if you told me 2 years ago I would have ended up in like cake toppers, I would slap you across the face. That's my life. But I recently started a partnership with my buddy James, who's living with his wife and kid in this like small apartment, and that's where we grind, trying to help entrepreneurs with essentially getting their idea out there. So we found that there's brilliant people, and some of them may not have an interest in waking up at 5 a.m. and making 70 phone calls. Which for a startup, those initial sales are very important to get that revenue in so you can keep doing it. So we're trying to help out with that, just using the experience from the last 2 years, knowing what it's like to have that pain of like, I've got this cool idea, now what? And like how to get that out there, how to market, how to do the sales. So we're starting that, and we have a couple people that we're talking to. And in the meantime, because I only have so many hours in the day, doing stuff like this. So I'm really trying to double down on Facebook at Don't Like Josh. So everyone's just like me. It's all about me. I will be your savior. Listen to my ideas and I'll take you along and you'll be like amazing. I'm trying to say, like, doubt me. Like, do the research. Like, test the waters, because it was worded really well.
That's okay. Even take it out. That's okay.
The meaningful satisfaction found in our world today was built off the shoulders of the dissatisfied. And that being like, I'm not going to sell empty hope. What I do want to share is my experiences and things that are practically helpful. And so I want to do that through Don't Like Josh. I would like to say you can go on there and there's like millions of like blog posts and videos. There's not. This is
not yet.
Not yet. This is kind of launching that. So Don't Like Josh, the partnership Anteambulo, which is a Latin word, which I found out about through Ryan Holiday's book, Ego is the Enemy. Ryan Holiday is awesome. The Latin word means one who clears the path. And so the idea is we're going out with our machetes, just even with the limited experience we have, to help others, to help clear the path for them so that they have a direction with their sales and marketing. And then hanging out with K.Short, having a good time.
Well, no, and like I think about that because again, we haven't caught up in a while, but entrepreneurship is just scary in general. And
absolutely.
Not only is it scary, it's also a very hot word right now. It's a very sexy word right now that everyone is doing. So it's like, I personally don't have experience of understanding what that even means. But I could tell you that I have a Filipino mother who came to the United States wanting the American dream and fought for her with her blood, sweat, and tears. And this whole time, and I didn't even know I had an entrepreneur in my house. Like, oh my gosh, like up at 4 o'clock in the morning, going 2 days without sleep, working night jobs and working the day job and then buying houses and turning them into, and I'm just like, I had one in front of me this whole time, but like even just that lack of like understanding of what even that world is. And so my question for you now, just as a student and just figuring it out, it's a good stopping point.
Always get real.
It was. And I'm going to drop this.
I'm going to get water real quick just so I don't...
So we're back. Okay. So not welcome back. So I was thinking, I was like, what was I thinking about?
After this commercial break.
Yeah, after this commercial break, which is great. You don't have, I mean, maybe they will be. Yeah. But as a student, and the idea that I shared with you so far, which actually has been much developed since then, since we've met. But does that sound like where it's going down? Is that the path? You're going through the machete, right? You're doing it for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not doing it for me, but that's, a part of it. Is that the path that I'm going down after what I shared with you the last time we talked at Cartel Coffee?
Specifically with Peddler?
Yes. Is that an entrepreneurial path?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I don't know. Well, since you get the machete, why don't you do it?
No, I mean, I don't have all the answers, but from my experience, if you are creating something that isn't there before in like a sustainable way, like I think you can claim entrepreneurship. Like it's something I found out really early on too, even with titles like CEO, COO, like who gets it? What do you need to do like before you like have it? What are the rules? And you just kind of just have to claim it.
Yeah.
You kind of just like slap it on there and you say, that's me. And everybody has different definitions of where that is. But I think what you're doing qualifies as entrepreneurship. I think that you can claim entrepreneur, and that claim is going to, I mean, you can put titles, you can put labels on anything, but it's only going to get you as far as like the work that you put in.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're doing the work. And
Yeah.
so for me, I'm less interested even in what we're calling it.
Yeah.
And just like learning about what's actually happening, the effort that you're putting in, and then how we can like work together to put it A in front of the right people and B get the right people in it.
And I think the thing with entrepreneurship to me, it's like, again, it's even a word I could barely spell. I always miss like one or two letters. I'm just like, yes, the E's and the U's. I'm just like, that's what I'm just like, is that what I'm trying to do? Is that it? Because for so long, I was trying to just become a talk show. I'm like, oh, that's whatever it is. But like, to me, I feel like, and learning from Gary, entrepreneurship now is just our way of finding freedom, of creating freedom and being free again. Like just having the choice and, you know what I mean? Like of what we want to do and how we want to spend our days and our lives. And I feel like it's interesting just like talking to friends and stuff, but it's like what it sounds like is entrepreneurs are trying to do is that they're trying to become, are you, what's up?
Okay, yeah, I'm going to be closing.
Okay.
Can you guys, at 5 I set the alarm.
Okay.
But that's fine, you can.
Okay, we'll be done by 5.
Okay, just, I'm going to lock up and close up, just walk out to the back.
Okay, perfect.
Set the alarm.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Appreciate it.
So what it sounds like, hashtag real life. This is entrepreneur life. No, just kidding. This is YouTube life is what it is. But what it sounds like to me is we're trying to build.
Go to the back, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're trying to create a life that we're trying to live the life that we already had before this life. Does that make sense? Like before, our ancestors had access to the whole world. They didn't get there as fast through planes and cars and transportation. But if they had a little dune buggy or a horse, or if they had the willing to walk, then they lived that life. Like it was very simple back then. You know what I mean? And I think we want that simplicity back. You know, we want that freedom of choice back on how we're going to spend our days. I mean, are we going to go, and I mean even down to the points of like gardening our own food and like whatever the case. So in my mind, I'm like going further and thinking like entrepreneurship is about that freedom. And our ancestors had freedom before all of this, you know, before this, you know what I mean? And I just kind of feel like there's something innate in us as humans and like human beings where we're like this, like there's this unwavering feeling in us that like, this isn't life.
Yeah.
This isn't how life is supposed to be and feel like. And I feel like we're putting this word entrepreneur and like, you know what I mean? Whatever someone put it in the dictionary and said, this is what people are going to become to go back to what we already were.
Yeah. Well, and like creatives, doers, makers, thinkers, like we're all trying to build something greater than ourselves or connect to something greater than ourselves. I think. And so Yeah, I think we're sick of like being told how to live. I think we're sick of being told that this is how the world works, because we've grown up seeing that like, that doesn't work. And like, yet we're still being funneled towards the cliff. Like, how does that make any sense at all? And so even just like from the trust factor of like, I don't trust the system. I fundamentally do not trust the system. And I've seen people get screwed. And I mean, you can get screwed doing anything, but entrepreneurship is a way for me to say this makes sense, and this fundamentally makes sense, and it brings back authenticity, it brings back that legitimacy, it brings back that creative spirit. And the good news is now's like what you're saying, now's literally the best time in human history to do so.
Yes.
And I don't care what anybody says. It gets me frustrated because there's a statistic that's floating out there that 90% of all startups fail. Where the crap does that come from? Well, fail in 2 years, fail in 1 year, fail in 3 years. So what's a startup? Like, where's the statistic even coming from? The Small Business Association estimates that 66% of small businesses survive at least 2 years. So instead of 1 in 10, like there's studies that say it's at least 2/3 for 2 years. Like, people are succeeding in this. Like, people are doing this. They're trying. They're using the resources. They may not have mentors. They may not have a library, but they have YouTube. They have smartphones, and they're making it happen. And, like, how do you do that? Let's figure that shit out together. Like, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, yeah. And I think we're going to figure it out together, y'all, because I think with your new business, we're going to have to figure something out.
Yeah.
You know, in general. What's the business called again?
Anteambulo.
Anteambulo.
Anteambulo. It's like walk before.
How far are you in this journey? Do they have a website? Do you have a website?
Nope.
We're very new.
Yeah.
Very
we have
new.
a name, and we have street hustle.
And 2 dedicated people and a space to work on it and a very small confined space and we're starting. Okay. Well, it looks like we got some work to do, y'all.
We got some work to do.
We got some work to do. So any last thoughts? Any last messages for future entrepreneurs and the world it is today? As we look as we get to look back at this interview years from now, what is it that you want to put on the map right here, right now?
Just
Ooh.
I just think it's important, and this is to like future me, this is to future loved ones, this is to current friends, future friends, this is to anybody out there, is just don't live your life out of fear. And do not make decisions out of fear. And you can fail at something that you don't want to do, so you might as well live the life that you want to. And I get afraid, and I make decisions out of fear. And those are the decisions that I regret most. And the decisions I've done that don't make any sense, but speak to that from that little part that just doesn't make any sense, but it's like, you should go through that door. Those have made me. And those have been the most growth, the most fun, the happiest times. And just, so it's just like, stop letting fear dictate your life. Instead of watching a Gary Vee video after this, get yourself some learning. If you check out Don't Like Josh, hopefully there'll be content out there to help with that learning. But you can do it. You can do it. We give you permission to do it.
All the permission.
So do it.
We're doing it. We're documenting our stories. Y'all are going to go on and go find him. He's documenting his story. So if at least you can see that these folks right here sitting in front of you that are trying to do it, as
It'll be
scary.
The 3 of us.
It'll be the
love
3 of
triangle.
us, exactly. As scary as it is, what other option do we have? What else are we going to be doing, y'all? Like, that's why I think after I explained to him like what I'm trying to do, I'm just like, well, if given, given we get another 50, 60 years, what else are we going to do with our time? Like watch, Gary Vee says all the time, watch House of Cards, watch Shark Tank and watch all these other people who have finally, turned off something and just decided to execute. Like, what else are we going to do with our time? So I just see it as like, we're shooting as big as we can, to our capabilities and to our knowledge and our imagination. If we at least shoot so big and we miss, you know what I mean? Like, still something great's going to come out of it.
Absolutely. I mean, growing up in Mesa, I didn't think that I'd be sitting in like a mustard-colored sofa talking to a microphone
Right.
with someone that like I met on the set of a commercial that we both got to like participate. Like, already the fact that this is happening is like worth it. And so, like, get out there and find out like what extraordinary opportunities are out there for yourself, because if you don't do anything, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So take some damn shots.
And there's no better time than today. Like, no better time to be a human than right now. Our grandparents didn't get these opportunities. Our ancestors didn't get these opportunities. Our parents didn't get these opportunities. Our older siblings didn't get these opportunities. Than where we're sitting as a human race right now. Like, things are really going to be moving fast and changing very quickly. So either you jump on the wave and start surfing, learn how to surf, or you're just going to be sitting on the beach.
If nothing else, subscribe to K.Short. Like, if nothing else, move the mouse and click.
If nothing else, subscribe to Josh's channel when he gets one.
Yeah.
Make sure to
When it's
follow his
real.
Instagram when it's made.
When it's there, yeah.
Make sure to, if you feel that you're an entrepreneur, again, it's a funny word. Don't get scared of the funny, sexy word. It's just a word that we've created as humans.
If you have a dream.
If you have a dream, go to his .com. Spell it out again.
Not a .com.
Not
It's
yet.
Not real yet.
You see, but when it becomes a .com, because like
ANTEAMBULO dot whatever we choose, or currently at Don't Like Josh. That's real. Facebook.com/don't DONT like Josh. Because
So-
it's not about the name. It's about the idea. It's about coming together and making something happen.
Yes. And last but not least, if there's any last tidbit for you, just know that relationships like this can happen. And I think not only that can relationships like this can happen, but also that when you see folks like me or you see folks like Josh, you know that we're not complete assholes. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure we all have our asshole moments.
Absolutely.
But like, we're trying here, like we're trying to be good people and to speak up and to put more goodness into the world instead of allowing these assholes and these whatever to take over the world. Like, that's really what it is. It's just good people stepping up instead of being silent.
Absolutely. And comment, reach out, message, subscribe. Like, I'm going to get sweaty and drive my car away, and I'm not going to like my high rise. I'm going to my parents' house where I have access to the internet. So if you send me a message, I will reply.
Yes.
Same with K.Short.
Yeah, I'm going to go to my sweaty apartment with no air condition, making sure these dreams come true.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching Phoenix Rising. Josh, thank you so much for being on the show. We can shake hands. Even though it's all sweaty.
Yes. You're like, I don't know how I feel about that.
Well,
That's hilarious.
I hope you all subscribe. I hope that you all like this video. Again, it was just trying something different. I know that a lot of times I'm interviewing artists, but this is a different kind of artist. So if there's anyone that you know in the Valley of Arizona that you feel like should be on this platform and is helping Phoenix rise in any way, shape, or form, which honestly, I think it really is a great idea. Like, you're onto something. Once I figure it out. It just needs to have its meaning for it becomes a click. It's just like Apple. You know what an apple is besides the thing that you eat, but it becomes the product, right? Like, I really do think it's a great idea.
Thank you.
And I definitely think we'll talk later after this. We'll do what we do after this. But if you feel like that there's someone in your community that is making Phoenix rise in any way, shape, or form in the best good-hearted version of themselves as a good human being, then send them our way. Josh may be eventually, I don't know what he's going to do with his channel. Something may happen from it. I don't know. Who knows? Anything can happen. So
It's going to be different next time we talk.
yeah, I was like, send it my way, send it his way. We'll figure it out. But at the end of the day, we're just a couple kids from Arizona trying to make things happen. Cool. We'll see y'all later. Make sure to follow us on social media and stay tuned for the next episode of Phoenix Rising. Woo!
Mic drop.